Hello artists, let's make a clay fish. You're going to need a few supplies. The first is a fish template, a slab of clay, and a little piece of paper to write your name on. Then you're going to need some various texture tools. You're going to notice a bowl of dry pasta here and another bin with different tools in there such as cutting knives, some toothbrushes, and some popsicle sticks. You're also going to notice that I have a cup of water and my clay on a mat. To begin this process, you're going to take your little name tag and a black magic marker and write your name on this so that we know whose it is at the end of the day. Once you're done with that, you're going to move that to the side and then you're going to take your black Crayola marker and your fish template and outline the entire edge of that fish. Once you've gone around the entire fish, you're going to flip it upside down onto the clay so that your marker line that you just drew is touching the actual clay. Once you have this done, you're going to rub along all of those lines that you created with your hands. Make sure you're pressing all of that. The moisture in the clay is going to activate the water-based marker and you will create a transfer of the fish. From here, you're going to use a cutting tool that you're going to have on your tray. You might have some popsicle sticks, you might have a green tool, a plastic cutting knife, or even a paper clip. You're going to go around the outline of your fish, cutting one little section at a time, and if you need to remove some of the clay to get it out of your way, just put it to the side. Once you're done with that, put your extra clay by your spot on the side because this is what you are going to be using. Now you can dip your finger in a little bit of water, one little dip, and rub around the outside edge of that clay to smooth it out. It's almost like you're erasing any bumps. Once that's done, this is where you're going to begin having fun creating and adding to your clay. Notice here how I'm rolling a little piece of clay into a coil, kind of like a snake. I'm using even pressure and rolling back and forth so that it's at least the thickness of my pinky. I want to now attach this to design my fish, so I'm going to measure and trim off the edges. Now, this is the most important part for when you are adding pieces to your clay. You need to do something called slip and score, which means you have to scratch both pieces of the clay and wet it and then wiggle it into place. So first you're going to scratch the clay, both sides, with your toothbrush, wet it, and then wiggle it into place. And that's going to guarantee that your pieces do not fall off as your clay dries. I'm continuing here by making some coils and rolling them out into a snake and measuring them as I go along. I trim off any little pieces that I want and I'm going to begin designing my fish here. Again, I am going to scratch, wet, and wiggle these pieces together so that they do not fall apart. Then you're going to notice that I'm going to make sure I tap it down gently so that it is firmly set into the position where you would like it. I might decide that I want a three-dimensional fin to be popping off of my fish. So I'm going to cut that out, a shape that I like for the fin. I'm going to give it a look to see if it fits. And then once again, I'm going to scratch, wet, and wiggle those two pieces together so that I make sure that fin stays in place. I'm lifting the back of it up so that it becomes three-dimensional and pops off of the body of the fish. Notice how I'm rolling some more snake coils and I'm scratching, wetting, and wiggling them all into place. After I've added on any decorations, now I might decide that I want to add some texture to this. Texture is the way something feels, and it happens that pasta shapes all have different textures on them. The little bow ties, if you wobble them across, will make little dots. The little linguine will make dashes. The penne will make some beautiful ovals, and if you point it straight up and down, you can get a circle. So here I'm just experimenting with designs around the fins, around the body, on the tail, and even in the eye. I'm rolling those round pieces in to give some textures of the gills. And it's just about experimenting. I don't need to put designs in every single spot of my fish. I could space it out so that there's room for all of my patterns to breathe. As you're finishing up your designs, make sure all of your pieces are staying in place, you've smoothed out the edges, and you put your name tag